Stop the cap, please. Just save it. Stop the cap. Look, UFC 307's main event headliner was recently announced by Dana White, and that is Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Now, look, don't get me wrong. This is a good stylistic matchup, right? We got two strikers here. That's why Khalil has been chosen to step in there at 307 against Pereira. It should have been Magomed Ankalaev. Now, if you're looking for my rant and my thoughts on the whole thing, I'll link that video down below. But this is what we have, right? This is the matchup that's been booked. But let the bullshit begin. It's already started to where you get fans, you get the UFC to where they sell the fight, right? That's their job. That's their, it's the marketing. It's the way they do things, which I get it. But what they're going to do is they're going to paint this up to be some crazy close fight to where they're going to roll the tape of Khalil Rountree beating the hell out of Eric Anders, dropping him 8 times, beating the hell out of Chris Daukaus, beating the hell out of Anthony Smith, who on paper should have won that fight. Then we're going to, see a close decision with Justin Jacoby. We're going to see, they won't show you how he got knocked out by Johnny Walker. I already see the BS happening. We're going to see the wild highlight reel of Khalil Rountree, which, make no mistake about it, Khalil Rountree is a very explosive fighter. He has good Muay Thai technique. I think he has some of the best Muay Thai in all of MMA. He has an incredible backstory. I really like and respect Khalil Rountree. But he's a sacrificial lamb, man. He's a sacrificial, I almost said a sacrificial lamb. He is a sacrificial lamb in this fight. Call it what it is, man. Stop the nonsense, man. I'm tired of this shit. I hate when this happens. This is this is as close to a layup as you will get as a champion inside the UFC. This is them saying, thank you, Poatan, for stepping in on rather short notice, saving UFC 300. Thank you again for stepping up on 2-week notice to defend your title against Yuri Prochazka. I already see it happening. Everyone's going to be like, this is such a close fight. It's such a close fight. Khalil Rountree, the soccer kicks to the gut, of an opponent that's laying on the ground. Like, I get it. He's devastating. He's terrifying. He's a nice guy. I like Khalil, but come on, man. You can't be serious. Alex Pereira is knocking this guy out inside 2 rounds. He's knocking him out inside 2 rounds. It's going to happen. Look, and if I'm not just some guy up here that's making predictions, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload, but come on, man. I've been saying for months, years, whatever, since Alex Pereira, I've been watching this guy, man, for years inside of kickboxing. I have watched the ups, the downs, when he was basically just a boxer, where he's now implemented more kicks. He has fought so many guys that have the exact same style as Khalil Rountree. He's knocked those types of guys out in kickboxing with the big gloves on to where they can actually shell up behind the gloves like a lot of those, Muay Thai style guys like to do. They like to march forward. They like to be light on that lead leg. They like to, hide behind the gloves, in terms of the defense. They don't utilize a lot of head movement. And Poatan's knocking those guys out. And if he didn't, they were being aided by being able to hide behind that shell. You cannot do that inside of MMA. The small gloves open up there's a lot of windows, man. There's a lot of windows, and Alex Pereira is going to find those windows against Khalil Rountree. But I wrote some notes here to make sure I stay on topic because I tend to go all over the place. So I want these videos to be a little more organized. But that's the narrative shift, right? But let's talk about what Khalil does well, right? Because I do want to recognize the fact that he is an outstanding fighter. I think that he has incredible Muay Thai technique. Now, if you aren't incredibly hip to Muay Thai, you're talking about a guy that's got a very squared stance. He's got as a Muay Thai coach, instructor will tell you, kind of the binoculars where they got their hands up right here. He's light on that lead leg. He bounces it. He moves forward. And he's very, very defensively responsible against kicks. The problem is, Alex doesn't throw kicks the same way as a normal fighter, as a normal Muay Thai guy, as a normal whatever. He throws these calf kicks in a very, very different style. It's more like a Dutch style technique. So Khalil, the way that he's been able to defend leg kicks in the past, this is a different task because Poatan, you don't see a shift in the shoulder. It's very, very, very hard to see these things. So he's going to have to be prepared to check leg kicks. Now, the problem is, when you're so worried about that, it's going to open up other things, which we'll get to as we go. But Khalil's aggressive. He's explosive. He used to fight at 185 himself. He has really, really good speed. He's got a big right hook that he likes to throw. He's got a piston left hand that he shoots down the middle. He has lightning fast kicks that he throws to the body. He throws them to the leg, which this will be a little bit different because it's an open stance battle because Poatan's a orthodox fighter. But he's very fast and explosive early in the fight. Inside the first round, he's very explosive and dangerous. But the problem is, what are you going to come out there and charge Poatan from the jump? Like, I don't see that going over very well, right? So I don't think that happens. So the first round where he's most dangerous, I mean, it's just, I don't think that's very troubling to Poatan. So a guy like Khalil, he's not shooting takedowns. He's going to a close decision with a guy like Dustin Jacoby, who, by the way, Poatan absolutely brutally KO'd inside of Glory Kickboxing. One of his most devastating highlights inside of Glory. So it's just, when we're going off of these different things, man, it's just, we got to call it what it is, okay? And that brings me to the Dustin Jacoby fight. The reason I want to reference that one is when he fought Anthony Smith, his most recent fight, Anthony Smith has the grappling threat, right? Poatan's not coming in here shooting takedowns on Khalil Rountree outside of some weird coincidence. Like, I don't think we're going to see him shooting for takedowns. So what you're looking at is a straight-up kickboxing fight. And Dustin Jacoby is a former kickboxer. Poatan's fought him before, which is part of the reason I went with that. But a guy that has pinpoint striking, a guy that can pick his shots. And we saw Khalil start to struggle as the fight progressed. In the first round, he did incredibly well against Dustin Jacoby. But as the fight started to play out, Jacoby started to make his reads. He started to throw a lot of feints at him. He started to do a lot of different things that were giving Khalil a lot of problems. And that was a split decision. And I scored that for Jacoby. I thought he won the fight. But split decision was close. However you want to say it, it was close no matter what. Now, how does he win? I mean, he's going to have to knock out Alex Pereira. He's not winning a 5-round decision over Poatan. I don't see that happening. I don't see this fight going past 3 rounds, period, if anybody was to win. But for Khalil to spoil the party, he's got to have an answer for the leg kicks. Because if you're just standing in front of Poatan the whole time and you're letting him chew up that calf, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Khalil, like I said, that Muay Thai style, it translates well to defending against leg kicks. But the problem is, we saw Jan Blachowicz, right? Jan Blachowicz has a very, very good Muay Thai style. He has very, very good leg kick defense, and he was struggling with the kicks of Poatan. And I know Jan Blachowicz is orthodox, but we've seen, even against Jamal Hill, Poatan is able to land these no matter what stance you're in. So if Khalil doesn't have an answer for that, his legs are going to get torn apart. He's going to have to avoid the left hook of Alex, because Alex, against Southpaw fighters, he hides that left hook incredibly well. So Khalil's going to have to be aggressive, and he's basically going to have to go for broke early on in this fight, because if he waits, if he sits around and just lets Poatan dictate the pace and have this comfortable tit for tat, kind of back and forth, a casual kickboxing fight to where he's nonchalantly throwing stuff out there and kind of being lazy with the defense, that means he's too comfortable. It's not that he's getting hit because he's lazy. It's, you see him kind of slowly getting back into his stance. It's kind of winging kicks up there. He's too comfortable. Khalil's got to put him on his heels and cannot just let Poatan march him down and do what he wants to do. So it's a long shot for Khalil. Can he get it done? Maybe. But like I've said before, I've been critical of him in the light heavyweight division because, look, he's a very skilled guy. But when you look at the stats, he's the Dak Prescott of the light heavyweight division. And I keep mentioning this, man. Dak Prescott, the Cowboys quarterback. People talk about, oh, he's a Pro Bowler, he's so great, this and that. But most of his stats are empty calories. Who are you putting these stats up against? He's, Khalil Rountree's out there. He's not fighting the top competition in the division. Is that his fault that he's not fighting the top guys? No, he's just fighting who the UFC puts in front of him. But he's getting KO'd by Johnny Walker. Like, you think Johnny Walker would have a shot against Poatan? No. Poatan would starch the guy, right? I mean, come on, man. Okay, so let's move on here, right? So what does Alex do well? I mean, he's, I'm not trying to sit up here and glaze the guy. He's just one of the most high-level kickboxers we've ever seen transition into MMA. Everyone looks at him as like this Michael Myers guy who just stands there and is like, Shama. And like, that's part of it, right? I mean, he's a scary guy. He plays, into the character very well. But he's terrifying in the way that he utilizes his fight IQ. Everything that he does is a setup. Every movement, every twitch, every technique It is all building upon setup after setup after setup. It's the same exact thing with Israel Adesanya. These guys are operating at a very different intelligence level when it comes to the striking. Everything is drawing out reactions, getting you in position to where they want you so that way they can exploit you. And if you're not bringing anything special to the table, like Khalil Rountree, like I said, he's a good Muay Thai fighter, but with a guy like Izzy, it's the speed, it's the movement, it's the feint, it's the timing, it's the footwork. That troubles a guy like Poatan. That throws him off. But when you're just in range and you're kind of moving forward, that doesn't threaten Poatan at all. Nothing about that threatens Poatan. And the fact that you don't have the grappling to threaten either, it's a problem. You're just standing in front of the guy. And Yuri Prohaska, a guy like Yuri, he's a dangerous striker. He even has grappling in his back pocket. And he really has no trouble for Poatan. Look, in the first fight against Yuri, it was a close fight with Poatan. And I said in the rematch, I even said, Poatan's knocking this guy out inside 2 rounds. And the reason for that being, Poatan had already been in there with him. He wasn't going to show him the same amount of respect. He has been working on the takedown defense. And you saw what happened there. And Yuri is more of a threat on the feet than Khalil, in my opinion, in terms of the power in their hands. Right? And that's kind of where Alex, if you want to go where some of the issues are, it's defensively against the boxing. So if Khalil gets this done, it's going to have to be with the hands. Now, Alexis, like I said, when he fights Southpaws, I'm going to reference the Jamal Hill fight because inside of MMA, inside the UFC, that's a fellow Southpaw that he's fought up at 205. And ever since Poatan has went up to 205, not only does he look physically stronger, but technique-wise, he is dialed in, man. There are not a lot of openings. He relies on that long guard. He's keeping you at range. He's, parrying shots really well. He's getting his head away. He's even shoulder rolling now to avoid that right hand down the middle that Izzy was throwing that was giving him problems. This man is just firing on all cylinders. He's got the low kicks. And again, this is going to be an open stance battle. So whenever you have that Southpaw orthodox, it opens up the back weapons. So your rear hand down the middle or the rear kick to the body or to the head. But with Poatan, it's actually a little bit different because he will throw that little switch kick to the lead calf. And then now he will throw the jab to the body, to ultimately set up that left hook to come right around that front shoulder. Because in boxing, you don't have kicks, obviously. So what do you have? Well, you had that left hook that kind of squeaks right over that shoulder because it's hard to see because when you're to that open stance battle, that left hook just kind of comes looping around. And what we have seen Poatan do in 2 of his MMA fights that we have seen against Southpaws, right? I know Bruno Silva's kind of a Southpaw, but still, we saw against this guy, Powell in LFA. Brutal, one of the most brutal KOs I've ever seen, honestly, right? He throws a head kick, gets the guy to raise his guard. He tries to march forward. Boom, left hook right over the shoulder. Guy never saw it coming. Jamal Hill, Alex Pereira is controlling the lead hand, getting the rhythm down, steps in, boom, nasty left hook, sleeps the guy. You don't think that he's going to do this to Khalil Rountree? Come on, man. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to do the same thing. So the bottom line is it's very, very cut and dry the way this matchup plays out. Outside of Khalil Rountree landing some sort of shot that Alex just doesn't see, he's getting absolutely picked apart. He's getting set up from the very beginning, just like Jamal Hill. And I know that Khalil Rountree, you could say, is maybe a little bit more technical than Jamal Hill. But I think Jamal Hill is a very good fighter. I think that, people kind of make fun of him and this and that because of the delusion at times. He's still a very good fighter. He has good hands. He's maybe not as technical as Khalil. He's still dangerous. And going off of the fights that I've seen from Khalil, he slows down as the fight plays out. And outside of him getting some landing some shot early on against Alex, he gets absolutely picked apart. He gets battered around, and then he gets KO'd inside of 2 rounds. And I told you guys a long time ago, if you've been following my channel, before Alex had said he was going up to 205, I said eventually this man will move up to 205. He will make 205 interesting again. He'll make it an entertaining division again. And he has done all of that. And he is a very, very hard matchup for these guys because of how good the striking is, the power, the technique. Now, the only thing that I've been saying to wrap this up that makes this interesting, Khalil's a former middleweight. He's got speed. He's got power. He has good technique. He is a good fighter. But he's just not on the level of Poatan, man. He's not on the level of Poatan. And if you have a boxing deficiency against Poatan and you loop on some of your shots and you don't have the best defense, you're in trouble. But again, I'm curious to see how this style matchup plays out because you have a really good Muay Thai guy in Khalil Rountree. And Muay Thai guys good at defending against leg kicks. Will he be as good defending leg kicks against a guy like Poatan? I don't know, but I don't even think Poatan has to rely on the kicks in this fight. I think he's going to rely heavy on the boxing. We saw him sparring with a heavyweight Southpaw guy. He was doing just fine there. I don't know, man. I don't see Khalil Rountree being much trouble for Poatan. But I want to hear from you all down in the comments. Like this video, comment your thoughts below, subscribe to the channel, help your boy out. I would appreciate it. See you next time.